Alright, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to some Division 3 Zoom Racing League uh, racing, I guess. I'm joined today by Big Mama Frank. How are we doing, sir?
Doing great, Raz. I'm excited for this race. Still have a little bit of a championship battle going on, but we are already in progress on the session. So, to kind of give everyone a quick update, we have Boberto who's currently serving a quality ban for reaching 4 penalty points. We have uh, Buffalo Trace had a collision with Nathan Doan at some point a little while ago and actually accrued a 5 place grid penalty, so he's gonna have to deal with that also. Nathan, I don't think, did get a penalty, so if he can sit on pole for the rest of the session, he will start at the top.
Yeah, absolutely. As Nathan is P1 right now, followed by Josh Barnsley on the mediums, it looks like. Marino P3, solid time for him. Zenith P4, Gabriel P5, Barney P6, who actually finishes time, and he goes provisional pole. By 3 attempts, it looks like. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just turn Frank up. So, Frank, do you want to give us a little talk about the track Canada?
Yeah, so one big thing with this track is generally there's a really high chance of rain, generally like we've seen in the real life race this weekend. Qualifying was very wet, and so was the practice earlier. It's also cold too, so it made a weird combination for most people. But for the game, there's a high tendency to rain here. I don't think we're gonna have any rain here today for this race. Actually, now that I look at our telemetry, there may be a little bit of rain towards the end of the race, about 30 minutes in. So we may have the last 10 to 12 laps or so under rain. Now that doesn't necessarily mean we'll be swapping to wet tires depending on the amount of rain, but we may see some. So that will definitely mix things up a little bit. The other challenge with this track is just track limits. It's partly just because of the nature of the track and just the nature of playing this game, but at the same time, the Codemasters has kind of created a little bit of inconsistent track limits in a lot of corners, particularly on that final chicane. Going into turn one, on the exit of turn four, it's a little bit inconsistent. And I mean, really, on most of the high speed chicanes on this track, you can cut it quite a bit. And but at the same time, sometimes it feels like you cut it consistently every time, but then you're just like a millimeter too far in, and suddenly you're invalidating your lap, you're getting a warning. So I do expect that we will have quite a few track limit penalties at the end of the race from pretty much everybody. It'll be the people who can be quick and be consistent and not run off the track will be the guys that really benefit today.
Yeah, I mean, talking about penalties, we saw loads of penalties, or chat limits penalties last night. As we had Zach Smack and Slovene having 18 seconds each, as Marino goes provisional pole by 4 attempts from Barney Goatmere. So maybe Barney's actually in the pit, so he's going to come out on a fresher soft tyres. And Nathan invalidates again. And we also have Siggy back in the in this division, back in the Merc, where Toto Rivas would like him to be next season.
Yeah, and his current, I mean, where he's sitting right now, he's in a pretty good spot to potentially win the combined constructors. So he may have the opportunity to go after Siggy with one of his top picks if he wants to. But we'll see. I mean, in the next season, it's going to be really interesting because we're on a new game. So it's not everyone's pace is necessarily going to translate. And there are going to be some people that maybe aren't just have been struggling with this game that are a lot faster. So I'm really excited to see how that's going to turn out.
Absolutely. So we've got 4 minutes left. We have a sector 2, and I think that is a Bonnie Rotten who spun around through the exit of a chicane in sector 2, leading up to the hairpin. So it'll
Bonnie
be
Rotten, someone who's pretty new. I mean, looking at that 5 laps on those medium tires, I guess he just wanted to get some practice in. I mean, one thing with this track also is tires are important because if you're getting a number of safety cars, or just in general, two stop is very, very common here. Lots of people like to do soft, medium, medium, or even soft, medium, soft, or even medium, medium, soft. So you will likely have to not necessarily have to pit twice. A one stop is possible, but a two stop definitely seems to be something that's very common here, particularly because I believe the softest three compounds are used here, and then also on top of that, rear grip is extremely important. And so when that rear grip starts to go a little bit, you lose a ton of time.
Absolutely, as Gabriel's just coming out with the exit of a hairpin. He was fastest sector 2 actually, 3 tenths up on his time, so at this rate, it'll put him around the P3 spot where Nathan is right now. And we also don't have Alex Duarte in this race. Sadly, one of the contenders of the championship in D3 against Nathan. So Nathan could get score good points. I'd say top 5. Nathan's in the front of the championship by next week.
Yeah, he's only 15 points behind, so technically I think he only needs to get, I think, P5, or not P5, but like P15. I think he'll score enough points to pass him. Or not P15, P10, excuse me, and he should be able to pass him.
Absolutely, as loads of people are now coming out for their last laps of the quali. As we've got Cole Cummins in P7 right now with a 110 flat. So he's actually on the edge of breaking into the 109s. And Bonnie Rotterdam's... Sorry, go ahead.
Bonnie Rotten's still out there on those mediums? Yeah, he is. He's invalidated. He doesn't really have any time to go back in. I guess his goal here, I mean, his battery is still on. I'm not really sure what he's doing here, but maybe he's got a plan. Maybe he wants to start in the bottom 10 and start on the mediums. But if you want to start on mediums, it is kind of weird to kind of run one of those into the ground since you may need both of them. So that's an odd decision here. But I mean, Marino is so far ahead in terms of his quality pace already. It'll take a really big improvement just to jump the lap he already has. So all Marino just has to do is really improve by a 10th or so, and he should lock it up.
Absolutely, as we've got Mr. Patel on a lap in the shiny green machine. And I think for Ethan, converting to a wheel, he's had quite a good season. I mean, he's had a better season than I have had in T2 this season. So I think Ethan's quite a prospect for next season to get podiums, get wins, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, that's not a bad opinion. Ethan definitely has improved quite a bit, including finishing on pole, or not finishing on pole, but qualifying pole for one race, which is really impressive. There goes P2.
Does go P2 as Nathan's around in corner 2, I think it was, and he actually doesn't have time to go around, so that will be it for him.
So Nathan has fallen down to P5 after not being able to set another lap.
As Kushi goes P6.
So we still have Cole. We still have Cole on a lap. We have Nathan who's done. Ethan, I think he's done. Marino is on his final push lap. He is even right now at this time, coming out of the final, or not the final chicane, but the final sector at the hairpin.
Yeah, as we see, Enjoyer 6 tenths up on his time, and he goes P3.
So Josh Barnsley P2.
Oh yeah, Josh Barnsley P2. So as Marino goes, I don't know, he goes a little bit quicker than his normal time.
Yeah, it was barely quicker. It was like a couple of hundredths quicker, but yeah, he got it. But Josh Barnsley's someone who's had a lot of struggles this season with just kind of keeping it clean. I think normally he's usually in a rush to try to get onto the grid, since I think he is busy right up until the race starts, so that can always cause some issues. But Josh Barnsley P2, that's a heck of a start for this race. Enjoyer P3 now, so that's an Aston Martin second row. Bonnie Rotten's still on the track with those mediums, man.
I'd be
I don't
surprised
know
if he
what
gets
is going
another
on.
lap in, as he is invalidated.
Yeah, the session is over, so the AI should, so he should just go into the pits. Otherwise, the AI will just drive those tires even further into the ground. And Brian Hackman not able to get a lap in,
Yeah,
so
so this will be
he is
it.
done. So I'm not sure exactly if he will be behind Buffalo Trace with that 5-grid penalty. I'm pretty sure it should put Buffalo behind both of them, since Buffalo is P17. So Buffalo should be at the back, and Roberto should be P19, and Brian should be P19.
Absolutely. So we have Marino on pole. I think that was his second of the season. Josh Barnsley P2, really good result for him, and also really good results for the Aston Martin team. P3, P4, Barney Gomez P5, Nathan I missed out Cole P6, Nathan P7, Kush P8, Aero P9, Zenith P10, Gabriel P11, Bonnie Rotten P12 with those 9-lap old mediums. I don't think he'll be starting on them, so if he does, he's some weirdo. Good Peter P13, Siggy P14, not the best quality for him. Snoop Francis P15, Gibbs P16, Buffalo Trace P17, some guy called Kahuna P18, Roberto P19. Brian Hackman without putting a time in, has he done something like any penalty points?
He is not. No, Brian Hackman is not. He doesn't have any kind of session. Oh, maybe he's just having technical difficulties because I'm seeing a message saying he left the session. Oh, it's actually raining right now at the end of the session. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we can see some rain to dry or dry to wet in the
Well,
upcoming
according to our
race.
telemetry, we will have. It says light rain at 30 minutes, so we should get. We will have rain. Now, the amount of rain we'll get, we'll see, but there will be rain on the track before this race is over.
All right, so we're gonna go into a little bit of a intermission, and we will be back with you shortly with the formation lap. And before we go into any more detail, let's go into the standings. Frank, you can lead it off if you have it up.
Well, our I will pull that up. But right now, we are, like Freddie mentioned earlier, we are missing our D3 championship leader right now. Alex Duarte is not available tonight, so he will not be racing. Only about 15 points behind him, we have Nathan Doan in second place. Behind him, we have Corrupt in 112. So the Drivers' Championship is still open with 2 races to go. Barney is in fourth with 103 and a really good result last week. And then in fifth, we have OG, who is also out tonight. So while the people below, I would say about P5 are in our championship standings are probably out of it. And they're still technically in it if they can win both the next races, and a lot of people crash out. But that would take quite a messy race for that to happen.
Absolutely, as I was seeing on the standing that there's 2 Aston Martin teams. I'm not sure if someone mucked up the standings there. That's just my screen. But anyway, we are on the formation.
The Razor's just chilling, you know, having a little whiskey while he was doing this. Maybe he made a couple of mistakes. No big deal though.
Absolutely not, no big deal. As we have the top 10 on the soft tyres, Gabriel on the medium, Coulda Peter on the hard, and so is Kahuna. So I'm gonna put prediction in, spun by lap 5.
Now, one thing that we're going to kind of keep our eye on here in this first sector, man, when we were doing our practice races earlier this week, it seemed that the lower division guys just would refuse to give anything up in this first sector. And when you do that, there's not a lot of space on these high-speed corners, and it's really easy to either get spun or spin someone out. So it might be a little messy on this first lap, so we need to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, that has definitely happened to me like 20 times in the last week. But anyway, we have, I can't see how many lights there are. There is 4 lights, 5 lights, 5 red lights, I should say, and they are out. And the way we go is Josh, he gets an amazing start in his home Grand Prix.
And there goes Barney too. Marino falling down to P4 all the way from the start.
Yeah, as Nathan and Marino going side by side, but Nathan gets a better position than Marino. And oh no, Ethan spun out Marino. I'm so happy I got that out just in time. So Marino might have damage. Let's just double check. Yes, he does have damage. What an awful start he's had.
He definitely has damage.
As Bonnie Ross
And
is
now Josh
absent to
Barnsley, yeah.
P5.
Yeah, now we have an over. Barney and Josh right now are kind of running away. Nathan is 1.3 behind. So if he can't close that gap in the next 2 laps, those guys are just going to run away with the DRS. Oh, excuse me, I was looking at the wrong interval. He's right on Barney's tail. Forgive me for that.
So yeah, so we got the big movers. Brian Hackerman with 11 spots. Bonnie Rossum up into 5th. Cole gone down 1. Nathan and Barney have both had a good start. Marino's just had the worst start in history. And so is Enjoyer. What's happened to Enjoyer? Has he got a wing? I think he does.
Yeah, it looks like Enjoyer has damage too because he's behind Marino right now. No, he just passed him. Yeah, he does have damage too.
Oh, no, he don't.
He's staying out.
It's really
And Boberto
weird.
also going from P18 to P10 in the first lap.
And Siggy is now at the bottom. So not a good start. Maybe Mr. Rivas doesn't want him back in the Merc seat. Although he does love him. A little bit of a bromance going on there. As we see...
Oh yeah, Siggy did have damage on that lap.
Yeah, and there is a Enjoyer that's actually run out.
Oh, he's out.
gone off. That causes a
VSC.
virtual... Yeah, VSC. And we saw a VSC last night at lap 2. Maybe we can see the same again.
Yeah, we might see a few people pit here. Because like we said before, the 2-stop is very common here. It's very effective too, so what we might see is people just go on mediums and then maybe go on mediums again towards the end. The big risk here though is if you go into the pit lane now and all of a sudden the VSC ends, you won't really get that advantage on the pit stop. But we see Ethan go in, Ethan's in, and everyone else is staying out. Cole in also.
Yeah, I think he's going to end though. So.
Yeah. If they can come out,
it's
the VSC ends while they're in the pit. So yeah, it's not the perfectly timed pit stop they can hope for, but it should be a pretty big undercut regardless.
Yeah. Also, I think Ethan pitted because he had damage.
Oh, so, he got jumped by Cole. Okay, yeah, he must have. Yeah, he changed his wing. Yeah.
Not good. Maybe not the best start as we thought they would, but nevertheless, the top 3 is getting away from Bonnie Rotten. But I mean, P4 for Bonnie is a great start from him as he's got Zenith on the back of him.
Yeah, he's doing a good job. I mean, we did see him do that practice session, use his qualifying session basically as a practice session. It's pretty much worked out for him so far. Yeah, the issue though is because of how far the leaders are. It's going to be really difficult to catch up. But at this point, Barney's actually fallen out of DRS of Josh, so he must have just been. Josh must have had a really good jump on the VSC restart. So yeah, if Josh can just stay outside that interval, then he can just run away with the lead right now.
Yeah, as Nathan gets fastest lap. And he's catching up with Barney, but Barney is on the edge of getting Josh's DRS, as he is now into it, but now back out of it. So
yeah, it'll be depending on how Josh does this second sector. If he can just keep ahead and then blow his battery down that back straight, he should have a big enough lead to be able to just kind of chill for a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. As we've got Berto. Back of Aero. Not going to make a move here. Maybe going to try and make a move on the straight.
Yeah, one thing to note is Ethan, who pit with damage, still has a really big gap to the guys who pit with damage on lap 1. So we have Siggy and Cushy and Marini who all pit lap 1. Quite a bit of ways behind him, and Ethan has been able to use that VSC to kind of make up a lot of time that he lost with the damaged wing.
Absolutely, as we're having a little bit of a fight back in P9. Snoop Francis getting the move done by Cooler Peter, and Snoop's had a great start. Not been his season either. Maybe this is a wake-up call for him. As Aero and Beberto are going side by side for P7 right now. And Beberto just stays ahead of Aero.
Yeah, Arrow doing the right thing to back out there. Like we mentioned before, this section you just can't really drive side by side. If you do, you're gonna one of them is gonna go into the wall, and one of them is gonna have to cut a corner. It's just there's
Oh
not enough
no!
space.
Bonnie Rotten lost it of the exit of turn. I don't even know. 6, I think it was. You've got to let me be on this one. And he just lost it and hits his wing into the wall. Sergio Perez style, just in a different corner. So it will be
Yeah, he definitely
boxing.
has damage.
He will be boxing as Barney gets the move done on Josh. And will we see Nathan get the move done on Josh? As Josh is going to have no DRS. Doesn't look it, as he looks too far out. This is a... Oh, is that Marino that has spun?
Yeah, it looks like Marino's slow in the back.
Marino doesn't look like he's got damage. So we'll go off him as we have a good battle back for P10 as Calder Peter goes side by side with Gibbs, where he lets the position go for Gibbs. And he ain't giving it back. Oh, that was quite good fighting going on there.
So far, nobody who's pit yet has technically undercut the leaders. So the leaders right now are running away. Everyone who has pit already is still about 25, 26 seconds away from the lead. Roberto gets a 3-second time penalty.
Absolutely. Something that would be fun to watch is who's going to pit first out of these top 3. Because they're going to get an undercut.
The earlier you pit, honestly, we're in these trains. Oh, we have Zenith who went around, I think, at the hairpin.
Yeah, as Nathan gets a move down on Josh. Josh, I think, had a bit of a moment of the Wall of Champions. I said this last night, and maybe he was trying to be a champion. And trying to send it over to Barney, maybe. Who knows? But anyway, you said Zenith has got wing damage or something?
No, it looks like he just spun on the exit of the hairpin. She has boxed for mediums now, but no damage for her. Now, one thing I might be a little bit critical of Josh here is he has lost 2 positions and the lead, and now they're outside of the DRS. He's outside of DRS of the lead, and he's at over 90% battery. Maybe he just needed to push a little bit harder to maintain his track position, because right now he's kind of losing a lot by sitting behind Nathan. But honestly, this would be a really good time to pit now. Josh has a little bit of wheel spin coming out of the hairpin. Will they pit?
We'll find out.
Josh goes for the move on Barney. And there goes Nathan. Nathan going in.
Yeah, Nathan goes in the pit, so Nathan's going to be the first one to pit out of the top 3. And will they extend their tyres, or will they pit next lap? I'm going to say they're going to pit next lap.
We may be looking at one-stop strategies here. Maybe they're going to kind of go 4 more laps potentially and just try to go to the end on mediums. But I think with this pit by Nathan, I think he is committing to a 2-stop, but we will likely see a 2-stop because we'll probably see a safety car in VSC at some point. When you get those opportunities, you shouldn't waste them. You should pit. But we'll see. Josh is losing so much time to Barney. Barney is flying right now. Looking at the tire wear, Barney is at 31, 34% on his rears. Josh is at 44 and 40%. So that might explain why Josh is suddenly losing so much pace. He absolutely has to box this lap.
He goes a bit wide or deep in the hairpin, and yeah, like you were saying, I think it's time to pit. It'll be curious where we see where Nathan's gonna end up.
Well, Nathan is behind Gabriel right now, and he has DRS, so he should be able to get this move done, and he should have the undercut on both of these drivers. It's gonna be close.
It is going to be close as he gets DRS off Gabriel. He's going to get DRS again.
Yeah,
where is Barney?
That detection zone does give it for both zones.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be ahead of Barney. As Barney's going to get a longer straight than Nathan. And yeah, Nathan just comes out behind Barney, but Josh has lost so much time towards those two.
Yeah, he did. He just waited too long to pit. Just kind of underestimated kind of the amount of tire wear or how much tire wear kind of affects you on this track. Really, really great outlap though for Barney. Or not outlap, in-lap, excuse me.
Yeah, well,
Now we have a battle between him and Nathan.
Yeah, but Barney got more DRS in him. As is that Marino that spun again?
Yeah, Marino must be driving frustrated now, just losing so many positions and getting damaged. It's really easy to lose your composure when things like that happen. Barney's sitting really pretty with his battery right now. He's about 55%, whereas Nathan is blowing all of his right now with 17. Is he going to go for the move? Nope, he's going to stay behind. He'll have an opportunity here if he can hit this chicane really well. We'll have DRS again. And he's not close enough to make a move. You know, slightly impressive, but Bertrand on these older tires is outpacing Barney by a little bit right now. They're actually equal in pace over the last lap. So if Roberto can get a safety car, then it'll benefit him quite a bit, but Barney is starting to close that gap. Looking back to Josh Barnes, he has accrued a 3-second time penalty for track limits, and he's getting around Gabriel now, but he has 2 seconds to gain, or to make up, to catch back up with Nathan, so that's going to be a big task.
There's a little bit of a train going with Gibbs, Snoop Francis, and Ethan right now. Snoop still needs to pit, and Ethan's actually made quite a comeback. He's P8 right now. He's going to be P5 when... Oh no, he actually won't. He'll be P7.
Yeah, Ethan really capitalized with the virtual safety car, and Snoop is going to start losing a lot of time now because his tires are really old.
Maybe thinking of doing the one stop.
Yeah, I think that's what his goal is here, but when he gets... Ethan is just going to get him here at turn 1. Oh, a little banging.
Ooh.
Oh, Ethan spins. Oh, no.
Honestly,
That'll be a ticket.
It's another job for you. I feel like when you're broadcasting this, being one of the main stewards, you must be frustrated when you see people colliding with each other, as you've got to deal with them.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes. Sometimes there are times where I'm like, oh, come on, Snoop, you know better than that. But we'll see. I didn't have the best angle on that one, so I'll have to see if they do make a ticket and post their evidence. But yeah, sometimes you're right. It can be frustrating where you're just rolling your eyes like, come on, man. Like,
sorry to interrupt, but Nathan just went for a move against Barney, going on a hairpin, but they both get DRS. And I'm guessing that was from Roberto.
Yeah, that should keep Barney in front. Oh, that's Nathan has a solid run here, but it's a little too far back, I think, to send it in turn 1. Turn 1 is just a little bit too fast for a big dive bomb. Both of them are looking really well. Barney is at 2 warnings, Nathan is at 1, so a lot of laps left.
That is lovely to hear, as you are the Alpine team principal. Not as... I mean, it's good for Barney as well, but one more warning. He's one more warning ahead of Nathan for getting a 3-second time penalty. That's not what you want to hear, really. But anything can happen. As we have Brian Hackerman making a move on Snoop. And Snoop's just having a mare of a time right now with those soft tyres. But I don't know why he's not pitting.
Yeah, over 50%, almost 60% on those rear tires.
We got damage.
Yeah, he has ring damage. Actually, I don't know if that happened when he collided with Ethan, but he has accrued that damage at some point. Marino just got wing damage also, so he is just not having a good time.
He is out of here. Trying to put an American accent on, just didn't work. As we have Siggy running in P16. What a poor man. But anyway, let's focus on top 2 drivers right now. As we got...
Josh has gotten by Boberto, so now he is closing that gap to them. He is almost within that DRS. If he blows a little battery here, it'd be worth it to get in that DRS and just try to recharge.
Oh my god, have I really just seen this? Mr. Snoop Francis going on the inters. Is it even raining?
Oh, hey, is it raining?
And
Well, we did
Marina
say that it
pitch.
was going to rain. I don't see any rain on the track yet. It is overcast. Air temperature's dropping, but no rain yet.
Is this guy... This guy must be trolling. I mean, I'm just looking. His tyres already look overheated.
Yeah, that's usually how the inters go. Usually just if you try to drive them in the dry. Oh, there goes Barney. Oh, going through the chicane right before the Wall of Champions. Finally accrued that 3-second penalty.
And do we
Nathan
see a
is still
dive
sitting on
bomb?
one warning.
Oh, we do see a
Nathan
dive
goes
bomb.
for it, yeah. Barney leaves him space. Really clean racing. Barney's...
Oh, they
Oh,
went side
no,
by side.
Barney,
And,
no!
and that was another Nathan
I spoke
and
too
Barney.
soon. I spoke too soon.
I don't think Barney's going to be happy with that, as Nathan did look like he did go for an aggressive dive bomb in a way. But at the end, he did kind of make it, and side by side, going through that hairpin in turn 2.
Yeah, I think Barney was a little bit too aggressive trying to turn in on that corner with Nathan right there and just kind of turned into his front wheel.
Well, that is something you are definitely going to be dealing with this week, so good luck with that.
Yeah, we'll see. And Barney, I mean, it works out for Barney. The issue here, though, is that Nathan, even though he's behind now, he's still within that window of being able to undercut both of them. But because of the rain, I think what we're going to see is everyone stay out until the enters, or to stay out to see how much that weather progresses, and then they'll box again.
Absolutely.
Nathan is getting that moved on Boberto, so he's back in P3, and he's still on one warning. So if he can have some nice laps here, he can get back in the DRS of Josh and be right back in the lead.
Yeah, as maybe Barney and Josh will be fighting along the next few laps, which makes Nathan catch back up with Barney and try and get some sweet revenge, showing what the Alpines do round here.
Wow, if he caused another incident, that would definitely not be something that we'd be happy with.
Yeah, I mean, I say Alpines, maybe for the D3 Alpine team should be called Nathan Doan's F1 team, as it's been in, I mean, in the constructors, it's pretty much been all him. Only getting, he's had a struggle with teammates wise this season. He had Kyle Desmond at first, and he had Leafsays, who hasn't been showing up, which is crucial in the constructors, as we were doing quite well, but now we ain't really. So, but anyway, Nathan's fighting for the championship as I see some rain on the way.
We do see some rain on the way. So looking at these lap times, Snoop Francis is over 10 seconds slower than the leaders that last lap on those enters. And there is rain, but I think I see some raindrops now, but that may have been a little bit too quick to go on the enters.
I mean, it's worked out in a way. He doesn't have to do a pit stop, but he's already 5 seconds away from
the
Marino.
issue is you just burn out your tires and you just wear them out. You just wear them out like crazy. So by the time the rain comes, you have no grip. So it's not really going to work out.
Absolutely. As do we see a move on Josh, on Barney, for Josh? I'd love to see.
Yet.
I'd love to see a Josh Barnsley win right now.
Well, he still has to worry about these penalties because Nathan is still in it.
He is in it still, but nevertheless. Oh no! Actually, wait, no. What am I on about? Nathan is still in it. My brain just weren't
Nathan's
thinking.
still in it. He's only 4 seconds back. So right now, if the race ended, yeah, Barney would win the race. Oh, never mind. Josh would win the race because Barney is Barney going in? Oh, Barney's going in.
And he's got 5 seconds.
Oh, we got 5 seconds. Oh no.
And that's crucial.
I think the track is getting really slick looking. I mean, lap times are still in the 13s. I don't think it's interweather yet. I think Barney is taking a big risk here.
Well, as you are using the task, you can see the lap times Barney is doing towards Josh or Nathan, and be that man. You can be that man.
Well, Snoop may have burned his tires out, but he did 24-7 last lap. So Barney has a little bit of wheel spin on the exit. He's coasting in the middle of Gibbs there. That was interesting. Um,
I
he's
think it's
right
too
next
early.
to Cole. He's Yeah, it's not Inter. The Inters is this was a really big. I don't know why you gamble like this when you're so far ahead. Because now it's just Josh Barnsley just running away.
But Josh Barnsley is making 5 seconds of the. He's out the 5 second mark on Nathan.
Yeah, Nathan now has two warnings. So he got one in the last lap, and there goes Nathan passing Snoop Francis. You kind of see the difference between the drives and the Inters right now. Um, this really wasn't. Still really not the play for Snoop. I mean, Siggy's on Inters now. Kahuna's on Inters. Everyone's staying out. Josh Barnsley and Nathan don't. It doesn't look slick enough for Inters. Snoop with the 24/7. He still hasn't crossed the line yet, so I can't see his lap time. But Barney has been passed by 5 cars, 6 cars now. Ethan's gotten past him too, so Barney may have just ruined his entire race by going on Inters this early.
And yeah,
Snoop
it looks
Francis
like
still in
he's.
the 24s. It is slowing down now. Josh Barnsley 14.6, but it's still a 10-second gap between the drives and the Inters, so it's definitely wet, but it's not wet enough. We have yellow flag somewhere. Who's that?
Looks like it's Mr. Buffalo Trace. Maybe had a little bit of a moment, the exit of a hairpin, as he's coming in now.
A lot of people coming in for Inters. It is starting to look really slick on the track, so it may be actually time for the Inters. But that gap is really big between Barnsley, Nathan, and Barney.
Yeah, but
And Barney is still losing time slightly to Ethan right now, so that's an important delta to watch.
oh, actually, hold on. I think Ethan's had a moment out.
Oh, yeah, he did. Maybe it is interweather, so let's see. Does Josh Barnsley's in? Does Nathan come in too? Nathan's going in too. All right, so Josh Barnsley should come out ahead of Barney still. It might be a little bit close for Nathan.
Wait, there's still DRS, which I'm still confused about. However, just looks like he's safe, and will Nathan's gonna get out ahead of Barney.
Yeah, he should. Yeah, he should by a couple of seconds here. 4 seconds almost between Nathan and Barney, and we have another yellow flag.
That is someone, I don't know who. Kushi? I do not
I'm
know.
not sure. It was in section one, but everyone was still on there. Everyone was still driving straight. There's the DRS disabled.
It is indeed. And now do we... Oh, no, there is a Mr. Aerogue off right now.
Yep, no front wing for Arrow, so we have to pit again.
As he cuts a track. And he's letting people through. And this is just making this day even worse.
Yeah, Snoop went for the really big undercut with these Inters, but he is 10 seconds behind the car in front, so it's a nice idea. I mean, everyone definitely anticipated some rain, but a little bit too early. When I mean a little bit, I probably mean 5 laps too early. If we look at Snoop's tires are at 35% already after 5 laps, after 6 laps. So it did not really work out for him.
Almost 6%.
Another person who went, oh, we had a Williams around. So I think that's Snoop being lapped by Josh Barnsley here.
As Cole's coming into the pits. Maybe got some damage.
Yeah, he broke his front left wing during that last lap. So that'll hurt him a little bit, but the cars behind are really far behind, so he may not lose too much.
Now, will we see the sun come back out and drive a track?
Well, according to our telemetry, the rain chance is increasing until the end of the race. So it's 44% plus 30, plus 45, we're at 74, and then plus 88 at 60. So I think we should see rain, light rain is what it says for the rest of the race. So we should have interweather until the end. Ooh, Nathan must have had a moment because Barney's closed that gap from I think about 3 seconds to under 1 second. Yeah, Nathan was 3 seconds slower than both Josh and Barney that lap. So we must have had a moment that we missed. Oh, Barney hit the wall.
And has he got damage?
Yeah, Barney has pretty significant damage to his front right wing, so he will likely have to pit, which means that Alberto will inherit the P3.
So that's going to take the title chances away from him.
Yeah, I mean Barney was pretty far back, but yeah, any kind of hope that he had for the championship without a late safety car, he's basically out of the championship running at this point. So he will lose at least 5 positions after he has to box here. Arrow having another moment, missing his front wing again. So, oh, Roberto with another time penalty.
That's something he does quite a lot, getting time penalties.
Yeah, it is something we see more frequently in the lower divisions, particularly with more difficult tracks like Canada and Monaco, where you're just trying to push the track limits all the time. So it's very expected for Division 3 races to have more time penalties. I mean, you still see a lot of time penalties in the upper divisions. Josh Barnsley right now seems to be, him and Marino seem to be the fastest people on the track right now. Marino has clawed his way back up to P15 after that really rough start. But Josh Barnsley, 4 warnings right now, so he's still in a really good spot to win this race. That's over a 10-second gap to P2, so just keep it between the walls, man. He will win this race.
Arrow gets a 5-second time penalty, it puts him on 14 seconds.
Yeah, this pit entry is pretty difficult because it's at the end of the DRS straight, so usually you sometimes can underestimate how quickly you need to brake before you go in there. So Barney is back in P9, going for a move on Cushy here, down the back straight. Stays behind Cushy for the moment. The Haas looks like a Haas is around in Sector 2. I think that's Cooler Peter.
And Barney's just hit Kushi. As Kushi looks up. Goes wide. And Barney gets a position.
Overtaking the rain is really difficult, but that was a really impressive move from Barney there. He did have the pressure tires, but still.
It is indeed.
Let me have a flag. I think that's Cooler Peter just pulled over. I think he's got a broken front wing, so he's really struggling right now. Oh, he has retired from the race, I believe, or he just left.
As Arrow gets another 3-second time penalty.
Well, he needs to be a little bit careful. He gets enough, he will get disqualified from the race.
What is the penalty record? I know Duncan Mechanic has got it.
It's probably Duncan with his, like, what do you say, 28 seconds of penalties or something like that at Mexico.
I guess so. As we have no one in the below 1 second right now, so we're just going to go on board with Mr. Siggy. We should do a lap with Siggy, just having a cinematic.
Well, we do have Marino kind of closing the distance to Zenith back in P14. He may be the next battle here. We have Bonnie Rotten going to the pits. Cole is slowly closing the gap on Siggy also, so that's our potential next battles here. So right now, Marino has the fastest lap, and no one will be beating that time since it was set in the dries with 11.3. So if he can get into the top 10, he will at least accrue one more point. But he has a long way to go, almost 25 seconds. 26, 27 seconds, actually. 10 laps to go. And Josh Barnsley just continues to build a gap between him and Nathan. And for Boberto, he has 6 seconds of penalties, so it'll be quite difficult for him to finish P2 without any kind of big mistake from Nathan. Nathan's still sitting on those 2 warnings, doing his best to not get that penalty. All it takes is just one bad moment from Josh, and suddenly he has the lead of the race. So Josh Barnsley crosses the line. We have 10 laps to go here in Canada. Interval screen keeps exploding, so it's hard to keep track of all these battles.
So it looks like the rain's actually getting a little bit heavier than it was. We have.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, we still don't really
Ooh.
see any standing water yet. What do we see? What do we have?
We have a Berto in the wall. Does he have damage?
Doesn't look like he has any damage.
It was
Yeah, he has a little bit of damage to his front white. It might be manageable, but we'll see what he decides to do.
Yeah, look, it's quite a hefty whack. And he locks up. As Siggy's in the pits, does he have damage? If he does, no, he's actually going for another intercept. Maybe thinking he's got more grip.
Yeah, he had quite the gap, but now Marino is in front of him, so that gives... I mean, Marino is still... What is almost 26, 27 seconds out of 10th, so he still has a long way to go to try to get that fastest lap point.
Josh is actually nearly lapped.
And Barney actually sends it down Ethan at the hairpin and gets the position from him. Now he has 9 seconds between him and Gibbs. 10 seconds, excuse me.
As we have an Ethan Patel in the pits with some wing damage. I wonder if there was any contact between him and Barney.
It looks like he actually had his damage from before Boberto, so whatever happened to him happened before Boberto got his damage. So I think Barney just got that position because Ethan was going slowly. So we have Gabriel right on Boberto's tail. That damage for Boberto is really starting to reflect in his lap times. He was 2.5 seconds slower than Josh Barnsley on the last lap. 2.5 seconds slower than Gabriel also, so Gabriel might get him within these next few laps.
This is a Brian Hackerman going slow. Now, does he have wing damage? Doesn't look it.
No damage. So he may have just had a moment. Stu Francis just DNF'd. No safety car, so it may have just been a retirement. His inters were absolutely cooked, man. He's 67% on his inters. With 7 laps to go. So Josh Barnes is sitting around 30% on his. Nathan around 28%. But Josh Barnes just keeps building that gap to Nathan. But with 4 warnings, even with 2 more warnings, and accruing that 6th second of penalties, he would still have the lead at this point. But back behind them, we still have Boberto and Gabe battling for 3rd place. Boberto does have 3 more seconds than Gabriel, so Gabriel may not be too aggressive with this, or may sit behind and just take the position from him at the end of the race. But what's the fun in that?
There's absolutely no fun in that at all. So yeah, you can just stay behind him and try and keep that 3-second gap. So,
yeah, Boberto actually is on 8 warnings, so he's very close to another one.
he is indeed, as is a... Trying to work out... Oh, no, that's just a lap car. So anyway, as I was going to say, we have Nathan that was... If he stays P2, he'll be leading the championship going into Britain, the last race of the season. However, if... Oh wait, no, but if Barney can't get ahead of Nathan, he can't win the championship, or he's not in the fight, and Corrupt will also not be in the fight if Nathan gets P2. However, Alex is still there, and we've only seen this season, we've only seen one per win for people that have won, except Corrupt, as there's a Red Bull that just went wide, and I think that's Carl again, and he's got wing damage.
Yeah, he absolutely does have damage. So Marino has closed the gap. He is still, at this point, Marino is, let's see, Marino is only 4.5 seconds out of 10th place now. So he has the opportunity to get that fastest lap point. I'm not sure exactly what it'll do for him, but he can get it.
We have faith in him. Gabriel's still at the back. Berto.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's just okay with letting Boberto just sit in front of him for now and just kind of just win the position based on penalties. This is his first weekend back with ZRL. He used to be a part of the community, as far as I know. He used to be a steward, and so this would be his first podium back. So I'm sure he really wants that.
Absolutely, as I also like to see a Roberto podium as well, boost his confidence up. I mean, even if he gets P4, this should really boost his confidence up for Britain and maybe next season. Because this man's got the pace, he just needs to work on his racecraft. Yeah, not to spin out, such as penalty points.
Yeah, it would take a pretty big moment from Gabriel for him to win this, or to win this position. But there's still time for that mistake to happen. The other issue he has to worry about also is if something were to happen and Gabriel does fall off the track. Gibbs is closing the gap to him, and Gibbs only has 3 seconds of penalties. And Boberto is still, like I said, 1 warning away from 9 seconds. And Nathan almost 2 seconds slower than Josh Barnsley on that last lap. I think he has just conceded any kind of thing right now and just trying to hold his position and just try to bring it home because he probably knows that with this position he will be in first place in the drivers' championship.
Yeah, as Barney's actually catching up with Brian Hackerman. And is that Nathan Doan? That is spam. No, it's
No,
Kahuna.
it is Kahuna.
There we go. That gave me a heart attack.
Yeah, two Alpines going across each other and a yellow flag at the same time. That's really unfortunate
very not good.
circumstances.
But yeah, I think Josh is now in the driving range of the victory in his home Grand Prix. 3 laps left to go.
He's actually lapping Siggy, so he is about to lap P12.
It's been an unbelievable performance from him today. Siggy ain't letting him go. But not just yet anyway.
Siggy should get out of the way. Okay, looks like he... Okay, he's not letting him go. Come on, Siggy.
Siggy's making his own rules now.
Oh,
The Siggy
my
Racing League.
Siggy, I swear to God, if Josh crashes because your ghost is inside of him. Well, Josh is back in front. Hopefully Siggy quits ghosting in the middle of Josh. Looking back at the standings, Josh Barnsley is down in P10 in the drivers' standings. So this will be a really big jump in points for him when he finishes this race. Depending on everyone else finishes, he might go up all the way up to P5, depending on the points here.
Absolutely, as Nathan's coming at the back of Mr. Cole Cummins.
Oh, Bonnie Rotten and Figgy going side by side to the first sector. Oh, Bonnie spins. Oh, no. Some weird things going on there, man. It was just a lot of weird contact with him. Siggy ghosted, and then suddenly Bonnie was in the wall. So that was a very strange battle.
Very strange battle as Barney and Brian Hackerman's going side by side. Oh, actually no, Barney and Brian are inside of each other, which sounds really mad. But now Barney just hit Brian. And they're going side by side. And Barney backs out
Barney did
of
the
it.
wise thing to give the position there. Oh, we have somebody stopped in sector 2. Looks like
Barney Rotten.
yeah, it must have been Bonnie. Looks like Barney's gonna go back at Brian here. He's right on his gearbox.
So it looks
a
like
weird lag.
yeah, it looks like a bit of decent going on.
Some more weird lag. Very cool. Josh Barnsley, 20 seconds ahead.
I mean, there's not really much to say about this drive. Unbelievable drive from him. 20
The second
seconds.
The second the rain came down, it was just Josh Barnsley showed you. No one else had the pace to keep up with him. The only person that had relatively close pace is Marino, but Marino was just too far out of the race to kind of contest that.
But yeah, Barnsley draining his ERS just to get to the finish line so he doesn't crash out. Coming down to a chicane. Going past the wall of champions. And talking about champions, here will be the champion for today, taking the crown in his home Grand Prix, the Canadian Grand Prix. And what a drive he has done today. Control the rain. As Nathan gets a 3-second time penalty, but it really doesn't matter anymore. And he is crossing the line. Roberto behind Gabriel. Gonna finish P3 on track, but Gabriel will be the real P3 winner here. And that's going to run out your top 3.
Let's see, how many penalties does Zenith have? Because I believe Marino is still outside that window. Zenith is 6 seconds, Marino is 7.8. So it looks like Marino will not finish with that fastest lap point. But with these finishes, Josh, with his first win of the season, Nathan takes the Drivers' Championship. It's a very eventful race.
So yeah, Nathan actually taking the crown of the championship at the moment.
Yeah, and really close. I mean, even though Boberto was not able to finish that race on podium with those penalties, by being able to go from being disqualified in qualifying to P4 is an amazing drive from him. So kudos to Boberto there.
Absolutely, as we have 2 Canadian drivers on the podium. 1 Vietnamese, I think that's how you say it. And we are going to get these lunatics in the booth, hopefully. Who do we have? We have
so we have
Gabriel.
Mr. Gabriel. Yeah, Mr. Gabriel De Vries, man. So from what I understand, dude, you are from Canada and you just did the Canadian Grand Prix, dude. So how do you feel, dude, getting a podium in your first D3 race back at ZRL?
It's good. I had the fortune to race last night in the D4 race, and didn't go quite as well as it did here. So it's nice to have a little redemption in a higher division as well. So just a little show.
And so now, from what we understand, you used to be a part of ZRL and you used to do stewarding and things like that. So why don't you tell us why you left and how come and why was it Duncan?
It's probably better if I don't say anything.
Doesn't want to get kick up the bum.
Yeah, it's water under the bridge.
That's fair, man. Hey, well, congratulations, man. Really nice drive, dude. Hey, we look forward to more races from you, man.
All right, thank you.
Dude, Freddie's main man, dude. Nathan Doan, dude. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware, man, but you did take #1 in the Drivers' Championship after this race, dude. So you're going into the final race next week with the lead, dude. How do you feel?
Oh yeah, we were looking at that the whole race, and I'm excited to be leading the championship, but I know that anything can happen. So,
All right, Fred, you have anything you'd like to ask your #1 driver, dude?
Well, I mean, you say #1, but he's at the moment the only driver I've really got in D3. So, I mean, Nathan, I mean, great drive like usual, getting back on the podium, having a bit of a not a great Baku, but yeah, back on the podium. What do you think about Britain next week? Nervous?
well, I'm confident.
Strong words.
So,
Yeah, it's a strong word, man. So,
yeah.
like, when we were in the draft, I mean, I think a lot of people kind of overlooked you. How did you did you think you'd be sitting at the lead of the Drivers' Championship going into the final race?
Well, I had that mentality going in, and it's really paying off, and that's exactly what's happened. So, it's good.
Absolutely. And just one more thing I want to say is, instead of Alpine D3, would you like the Nathan Don't F1 team?
Yes.
There we have it.
No hesitation. Just yes.
All right,
Nathan
man. Well,
Dunn
great
F1
race,
team.
dude. Congrats on the finish, dude. Congrats on the lead, dude. Good luck next week, dude. We hope to see another great race from you.
Nope. Thank you guys. Bye.
And now, dude, long overdue, man. We have Mr. Josh Barnsley, dude. I think going into this season, man, I had high hopes for Josh. I thought he would be smoking, but so far hasn't really gone his way. But we finally saw the dominance of Josh Barnsley, man. How do you feel, man?
Oh, I am so happy. First win, and of course it has to be in the home country. So I'm glad that I won that one, and the rain helped me out a lot, so that was awesome too. I don't even know what to say. It's pretty awesome. I'm pretty pumped up.
So, Peter, before this race, we are joined by his team principal in here also. Before this race, how many times did you have to kind of beat him up after every race, every time he didn't finish to your expectations so that he would finally win one?
Too many times. Yeah, we knew for a while that something like this was gonna happen. I think this whole season as a whole has just been a bit unlucky for D3 especially. So just really unfortunate. But we've been rewarded finally today. So I'm glad. I'm happy for Josh.
Yeah, something I just want to point out is, did you practice more on the wet tires than you did on the dry tires?
Okay, Peter, remember how I said I did practice a tiny bit in the wet?
You didn't.
I haven't done a single lap in
Nice,
wet in
nice,
Canada.
nice. I told them to.
I didn't practice at all for the wet. I don't know. It was just kind of lucky that the setup that Beamer gave me was awesome in the rain. Like it felt like I had tons of control.
So
So,
while you're here, dude, you want to share those secrets with us?
I don't
No,
know. That's
we
kind
don't.
of
I don't think
Ferrari.
it does.
You Red Bull nerds are gonna have to come over to Ferrari if you want that.
That's fair, man. Wait a minute. Well, really great race, dude. How do you feel about Britain for the finale?
Britain's like one of my favorite tracks. I feel like I'm really fast at it, so I think it should be a good race, and we're looking to top off the season with maybe another win.
Okay, man. You guys heard it here, man. Josh is gonna win next week, dude, and he said guaranteed and no take backsies. So we look forward to it, man. Thanks for this great
guaranteed.
race, dude. And that was a really good drive, dude.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
I would also like to point out that we have actually officially taken second in the constructors for D3 right now.
Sir.
So
Have you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Ferrari coming up. I told Ethan that we were going to as well, but he didn't believe me.
Wait,
Had to make it happen.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, and looking at
Yeah.
these standings, yeah, you guys should be that. You guys should be in second now. So that's what
Mhm.
that double whammy for you guys. So nice going.
Yeah.
well, they should be
Yeah, that'd be
second,
awesome.
but I swear they just said that they permanently there or something like that.
What?
Is it just
I
me?
think it was just a bad joke. I don't know, Fred.
No, I'm being honest. I thought you guys were talking about you guys were being permanently there, but I was just confused. So anyway, you're P2 in the constructors somehow. So yeah, good result, Josh, and now goodbye.
Very savage, Fred. Very savage. So that was a fun race, man. I mean, it was kind of boring in the rain because everyone was just kind of spinning. People were just all over the place in pace, but an absolutely phenomenal drive from Josh, man. It's really nice to see him at the top. He's definitely someone we've kind of missed being up here and we kind of expected to have been up there, but it's nice to finally see him get his win at home in Canada.
I mean, yeah, it was a great moment for him. I wish I had the same moment last season in Britain, but it weren't the same. So, but anyway, we're gonna end it here. We've got a D2 stream in 35 minutes time. Come along and watch that. You've got your number one or worst broadcaster joining with Buffalo Trace, Mr. Revis. Probably got a hangover right now, so yeah, I mean, watch me and Frank fight for P19 tonight.
With any luck, man, we will be fighting for P19.
Absolutely. So